So I have some real issues with the way that the default schemes are run and some of the pension providers. And there's a real appetite for the information. I made a video about Nest the other day. They have 6 funds that you can choose from. And the only fund that is 100% equities is their Sharia fund.
And even that's not 100% equity anymore.
No, they've added 30% Islamic bond allocation, sukuk.
Sukuk, yeah.
I can agree that Nest's overall philosophy is broad diversification because you see that in every fund. But what I can't stomach is the fact that they acknowledge that people buy the Sharia fund for the 100% equity exposure, but they're just going to take that away. I did some kind of back testing in terms of, okay, let's take 100% equity as represented by a Vanguard global ETF or an MSCI World, whatever. And then let's look at a 70-30. And 70-30, what I mean is it's 70% equities and 30% in some other form of investment, typically bonds.
Typically bonds and cash.
Yeah. But Nest, I think they have property and all sorts in their funds, commodities as well.
Yeah. And they do some of the productive finance stuff that the government's so keen on as well. Some of the unlisted bonds and equities.
The difference in performance is about 2%, 3% over
what time period?
Over like 40 years, over an investing timeline. I did it from like the 70s, 80s until today. So saying over an average working life. The difference in performance in retirement was half of your pension. So you go from that individual paying £300, £400 a month, instead of having 3.4 million, had 1.8.
So where it's going to get interesting is, and we'll see how this one plays out because it may or may not work, but there is this push to introduce this value for money framework on pension schemes to surface this kind of data, to shine a bit of a sunlight on the decisions that pension schemes are making, the investment choices they're making, the charges they're deducting, the services they offer to their members, and to put all that out there. It's going to take a couple of years from now yet before
I did it in 10 minutes. Right. 1.8% fee on Nest on contributions plus 0.3% fee. It's not that hard to get this in place.
Obviously, the Department for Work and Pensions moves a bit slower than
well, I'll call it out a lot louder than they will then.
So maybe we'll get to the point where there's more scrutiny of that kind of data.
Yeah, because it just seems that they're in a very privileged position in sense of they basically get to be on this preferred supplier list of schemes and they just hoover in assets.
Yes.
And then 90% of people don't ask what they do with those assets.
Yes, and the whole motivation is we don't want to scare the horses. We don't want to alarm people. We'll do just a safe middle of the road option.
And we want predictable cash flows maybe. Because you know, if you've got 30 billion in assets under management and the market drops 20% in 1 year, your slice, your 0.3% takes a big hit. So maybe they go, well, we can forecast if we know that growth is going to be,
you're cynical,
4 to 6%. No. I think we should be at these guys, personally. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're lovely people behind the scenes.
This all comes back to the point that you as an individual, anyone watching this, should take the time to interrogate this information, to interrogate where their money's being put and decide whether that's right for them.
Good. I think what I hope is that people see my passion around this and then they go, okay, I need to take this seriously.
This was a clip from our episode with pensions guru and general legend Tom McPhail. To watch the full episode, click right here.